Okay, so this is what we're after as an end product. And you can see that the color wheel looks like this, 12 hues. I'm seeing on the video that particularly this yellowish green is coming out a little strange. And that's just because all cameras have limitations in how their gamut works and what they're good at depicting. So I'll show you another one in a few seconds that's a little better, but here you get the idea. Nice, clean circle. I'm going to show you that layout. And then equal divisions into 12 pie pieces. So I'm going to show you that. So you'll need your compass and protractor and straight edge for this. Here's the one that I did. I'm seeing this violet's coming out a little weird, but you can see mine. And this is what I mean with clean edges, of course. No straight lines. But you can see my 24 divisions of color. I'm real proud of this one. But again, you guys are only doing 12 hues. So I want to show you the layout. You're going to use one of those full sheets that you guys have. And those are actually half sheets. See, the full-size illustration board is really big. But you guys have ones that are cut down. And what I want you to do is find the center point for your board. So if you guys know how to do that, that is to find the width. So this one's 20, I believe yours is 20 wide. So right at the 10, I'm gonna make a notch. And then you'll find the height. Mine's giant, so I'm just gonna make a notch at 10 there. So I've got my center point. And when you're doing all this, I want you to do it lighter than what I just did so that it's easy to erase. So what you want to do when you're doing layout is to always use light pressure so that you aren't scoring the surface of the paper. So I'll use that as my compass point. And what I want you to do is to make the compass as wide as you can without coming off the sheet. And the reason that we want to do that is that wide compass setting is about as good as we can get for bending the tape, which I'm going to show you in a few minutes. So just make a nice, well, that got messed up fast. Make sure your compass is functioning properly. Good. So some people have found that using pencil can lead to smudging when you're painting, but on a more complex layout like this, it's not really advisable to use pen because if you make a mistake, you can't erase it. I used to have everybody use pen to avoid a little bit of smudging, but not anymore. So I'm gonna square up and I'm gonna bisect this. So I'm just gonna get right with the center point there. And I'll cut the circle in half, like such. Like this. Then I'm going to use the protractor, and I'm going to mark 30 degrees just in this top half. So I'm going to mark at 30 and 60, and then I'll come over here on the next side. Let's do 30, 60, 120, 150. Now look, some protractors are registered on the bottom. This one is registered on this line, and this circle goes in the center point. So now all I have to do is line up center point to the 30-degree mark that I notched, and I go all the way from the edge, and I go right through the center point and all the way across. You do the same thing with the 60. I'm trying to get as precise as I can. You can find tons and tons of color wheels online, but again, the important thing is for you to actually do it and try to hit the proper hues. So I've got this all divided up into my pie pieces. So the next is the difficult part, and you want to get out your X-Acto knife. And I'm going to use a cutting mat just so I have a surface. And here's what you're going to want to do. You take out the tape, and ideally you would take enough tape to go the entire circumference in one piece. So these compasses spread out to about 1 foot in diameter. So a circumference is around 36 inches if you want to go that route. So again, I just lightly let the tape rest down. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to make slits in this about every centimeter that go 2/3 of the way in. Maybe less than a centimeter. I'm just going to go a little bit at first so this thing doesn't fall apart or rip apart when I'm pulling it off. So I'm gently pulling it off. And you'll see those slits when I show you on the wheel itself what we're doing. So let me just move this over a little bit so you can see what I'm doing. So you see I've got all these slits. I'm gonna line this up right on the edge, like this. And then I'll grab the tape really close to that edge. And because I've got these slits, they are gonna relieve tension and allow me to use my finger to bend the tape. And then you can see when I flatten those out, the space that they've relieved and allowed the tape to bend. So I've done a few, and then I'll just hold the knife and do a few more slits down. And I'm just kind of pulling on the tape. I'm keeping my fingers really close together. And then I'm flattening those flaps like this. So this 10 or 12 inch radius is about the best the tape can do for bending, especially such a broad area. And so on, all the way around, right? Make sure these are flattened out. Once you've got the tape all the way around, you see how I started to curve it there? Once you've got the tape all the way around, first I want you to look for little ripples right along the edges. And use your fingernail to mash out those ripples so it's really sealed right down on the surface, or right down on the edge. And go around a few times and make sure that those little ripples are flattened out. So you're going to leave this whole length of the circle for the entire project, and it'll be the last thing you remove. So let's say I've got this whole thing around, I've gone around and I've removed all the ripples. What you should do next is get some more lengths of tape and mask off those slits so we don't get paint into those areas that we don't want. So this is pretty important, otherwise your brush is likely to come over the edge and so on. So you're only able to do one pie piece at a time. So just remember that. Wait a second, Jeff. Next step, what you should do is label the whole thing. So we've got red, red, orange, orange, yellow, orange, yellow, yellow, green, green, blue, green, blue, blue, violet, violet, and red, violet. So the naming convention is that the primary always goes first. So this is red. So in between red and orange, you have red, orange. Instead of orange, red, it's red, orange. So the primary color name always goes first. Here's yellow, orange. Here's yellow, green. Here's blue, green, blue, violet, and red, violet. So label all this first. Do it lightly. Then you'll tape off your pie pieces. Gentle. Then fingernail on the very edge. Fingernail will seal up that corner there. And so this is sealing that corner. This is ready for painting now. So I'm gonna switch videos because YouTube's only let me do 15 minutes because I am already verified. If you guys know YouTube, that's this whole thing. So next video, I'm gonna talk about which paints to use and what not to use.